Alright, I'm going to start talking about the Dragon rig you see before you. It's pretty cool. The entire model, UV, unwrap, and both the rig and animation that ended up in the game Saving Magic for iOS, Android, and web were all done by me. The texture was done by Laura Lee Pierman, as is displayed on my portfolio. But anyway, we'll get down into the rig, and this is a pretty interesting rig, but I'm going to jump into the part that I feel is the most important and cool, and I'm proud of. But the rig is completely downloadable. It's free. It's ready to go. It's production and game ready. It's got all of its controls hidden at the moment, but here's all the controls that are usually shown and available to the animator. We'll go off, except for the neck controls, or no, sorry, the wing controls. Neck controls aren't that snazzy. But the wing controls, important. A dragon is nothing without its wings. And since this was a iOS game, it had to be heavily optimized to really be easy to use. And because I knew my working environment, I was not going to be the only animator on this rig. I needed to make sure that the system that the wings used were easy to understand and use. So I decided to run it very simply through a series of two spheres and a couple of wing controllers up here. But these two spheres are controlled by three NURB controls. So we'll jump into this area right now. All right, so the spread control is basically controlling this little sphere under it and rotating around its Z and controlling up here the spread of the wings. Right, I've set some limits so that they can't go too crazy, but the spread can still, the NURB controller can still go beyond it to allow for some easier animating for more experienced animators who don't really want to get into the curve editor, or should I say less experienced animators who don't want to get into the curve editor. So they have the ability to make some pretty sharp curves if they have the desire for it. And the flap, same thing, controls the sphere, and the roll controls the roll here. Now I decided to do this and not actually just leave it as a sphere to control, kind of like I did over here. If you've downloaded it or played with it at all, you can see that the tail control is actually just a sphere that you rotate. This I found resulted in a lot of gimbal lock situations, and being a tail, it wasn't super necessary to always have it, completely nailed down. And it wasn't a very big part of the game, so I didn't feel like it was a very important aspect to really have control over. But the wings were going to be something that the player always sees. So I needed to make sure that there was going to be no gimbal lock and no, unpredictability in its animating. So I got rid of any gimbal lock situations by making my own gimbals and basically using them to control the wings. I'll go over here to my node editor to show you more information about this. So basically the NURBs, these are the NURBs, they control certain rotation values of the actual spheres, which run into a multiply divide node, and they end up being in the rotations of the joints themselves. So I mean it's pretty much the overall flow is just through this area with a bunch of unit conversions, because they always give you those. But I mean, that's the most interesting part of this rig. Didn't really want to dive down too far. This rig did also come with or not didn't come with, but I created one for the ease of animators. I'm in a little spinny wheel right now, but I should be able to power through. A spread, or not a spread, but a GUI for this specific rig, so you can select all legs, front legs, back legs, spread controls specifically, or all animated controls if you need to control the entire sequence of something in the graph editor or delete certain keyframes that are pertinent overall.